Hi guys, this is Kirill, your Justice analyst from Belarus living in Germany, and it's time to talk about the second semifinal. First of all, I don't know what was your impression, but in my opinion, this semifinal was miles ahead stronger than the first one. I truly believe that Australia or Ireland would have made it out of the first semifinal, but in any case, it was an amazing show. The outer finalists, I think, were also absolutely great. French performance just totally blew me away. I think the British girls were also so cool and so charismatic. The German performance was just such a vibe. But now, without further talking, let's talk about each and every of the performers of the night, starting with the non-qualifiers and then move into the qualifying entries. Our first non-qualifier, in accordance with the running order of the second semifinal, is of course Australia. Go Joe with Milkshake Man. I have to say I was absolutely gutted he didn't make it. If you remember my predictions before rehearsals, also after rehearsals, I was always putting Australia pretty close to the qualification, but kinda not believing that he will make it, just based on the fact that we have Malta and Finland coming afterwards, and there can't be too many similar entries all qualifying to the final, and unfortunately this is what has also happened. I have to say his performance was absolutely stunning. Vocally, he was on point, his charisma was great. I think what was happening on stage was truly entertaining. I loved that idea with a sort of online shop or something like that, so I have to say, for me, this was an absolutely excellent performance. Maybe if he would have represented the country with a bit more diaspora in Europe, or if his running order would be better and he would perform somewhere towards the end of the show, I think he would have got a very good shot. But unfortunately, the stars just didn't align for Australia this year. I really hope they will not feel demotivated, and Gojo can be totally proud of this job. I actually would think that most of the countries were putting him into their top 10, but probably like on a place 10, 9 or 8, so he would be awarded by each and every country like 1, 2 or 3 points, and in this case it just was not enough to qualify. Well, it was no surprise that Nina unfortunately didn't make it. I think she is such a star, she has such a beautiful voice. Unfortunately, on this performance night, something was wrong with her voice. There were a couple of tones which went into a bit wrong direction. I felt really sorry for her because it was obvious it's her last performance in this Eurovision Song Contest. In any case, she's very talented. Maybe if she gets a better song, she should come back in some years and surprise us all with a great result. Actually, in my semi-final predictions, I was really struggling to choose between Ireland and Luxembourg, which of the two will get this kind of family-friendly votes and will qualify to the final. I still thought probably it will be Ireland. In the end, it was Luxembourg. In any case, I think Emmy did a fantastic job. If I compare this performance with the one from the Irish Eurosong, it's just miles ahead. Vocally, she was great. What was happening on stage was also pretty good. The background visuals were good. The sound quality was good. I don't know. Everything was really nice. It was really a huge pity that she was coming so early during the semi-final. If the song would trade places with Luxembourg, I think this one might have qualified. I think just like with Montenegro, with regards to Georgia, there is really not so much to say. I think Mariam gave us an amazing performance. Vocally, she was great. I think the camera works actually in the Georgian performance was one of the best, if not the best. There was really nothing I could complain about in this performance. There were 1 or 2 moments which looked a little bit static, but just the song is unfortunately so weak. So I'm pretty sure that even with this excellent work, they definitely had one of the last places. This performance, just like Cyprus in the first semi-final, really took me off guard. Already in the first semi-final, I was totally gutted and surprised by how not impressive the Cypriot performance was and how weak his vocals were, and this time it was just the same story with Adonxs. I was already saying that I think his outfit was not really fitting to the song so much because the song sounds kind of more classy and cool, and then the dance break kind of breaks this classy atmosphere, and his dress unfortunately doesn't fit so much. And vocally, it was unfortunately not his best night. If he would have just taken 1-to-1 his acoustic performance from the Maltese national selection, where he first time showed us the song, I think he would have so easily qualified, but unfortunately he just overthought this performance. There was just too much going on what was not really fitting to the vibe. Even this dance break kind of felt very forced in the song. The ending was actually very beautiful, but it didn't really connect with the rest of the performance. It again didn't really connect with the outfits. So I'm really sorry about this one, especially knowing how talented Adonxs is, how great of a singer and a dancer he is. Just the delegation seems like made a lot of wrong choices for this performance. And with regards to Serbia, I can just say the same, that the delegation has unfortunately made a lot of wrong decisions with regards to the staging. Vocally, Princ was absolutely great. His vocals were definitely one of the best of the night. The song is just beautiful, and this type of ballad is really hitting and targeting those a little bit more conservative viewers of the Eurovision Song Contest. But then why do you give them such a non-conservative performance with these male dancers? It looked almost like an intimate scene between Princ and them, so it felt kind of awkward, especially because the song is related to a woman he is into. So it just felt like a mismatch. This part where he's dragged on stage feels definitely not fitting and not appropriate in the song. So unfortunately, many wrong decisions. Princ is such a fantastic artist, and it's just so sad that he got this stage, and because of that he didn't qualify. And now it's time to talk about the ones who have made it. And the first announced country was Lithuania. For me, it was no surprise. I think their performance was just so different in comparison to everyone else. And I think if someone loves this kind of dark vibe, a bit of rock music influence, this is just totally perfect song for them. They will just ignore everything else. So it just looked really authentic. I loved all the camera angles, just the whole performance was just feeling so true. There was no pretending, and they can be so proud of what they did. They definitely elevated their Lithuanian national selection performance. Also, Lithuania gets huge support from diaspora in Ireland and United Kingdom each and every year, and they were both voting in the semi-final. Also, Lithuania had Latvia, who probably awarded them quite a lot of points as well. And our qualifier number 2 was Yuval Raphael from Israel. I think the whole performance actually looked really stunning. These beautiful visuals with this chandelier, her vocals were just so pure, so beautiful, so right on point. Unfortunately for me, in the whole song there was some power lacking. I just wish they would have added some backing vocalists or something like that. Maybe a little bit more variety with regards to the background visuals. So unfortunately, I don't see Israel winning this year, or maybe even not coming top 3, even though just based on the song and based on the artist, I really had high hopes for this one. In any case, totally deserved final, but let's see where Israel will end up. Qualifier number 3. Do you remember all my prediction videos where I was telling you, please, if you want to make bets, just bet on Armenia? Back then, Armenia was ranked 14th by the bookmakers. I could really not understand why. After we saw the rehearsal snippets, I just felt like this is such a powerhouse. There is no universe where the song is not qualifying. And especially if you take a look at the composers, so the ones who are behind the Code by Nemo and Tattoo by Loreen. So you definitely have the producers who know how to write songs for Eurovision, and this one just looked absolutely slick. I love all the camera angles, his movements, his charisma. It just looked really like a truly perfect performance. I'm not sure how high he will be ranked in the final, but this was a sure qualifier. What I have kind of missed in this performance would be just like close-up shots where you could see his face properly, because unfortunately he was holding microphone kind of almost in the middle of his face, so basically almost never you could see him. If there will be no microphone, then he would be just running, so still you cannot really see him properly. So this is the only critique I could have to this performance, otherwise just great. Yes, I was really unsure till the very last moment if Sissal can make it or not. I was ranking her qualification chances as 50% before rehearsals. After rehearsals, I was really unsure. This song is just such a vibe. I have voted for this like 10 times. I was really scared that the audience will not really take it. But I have to say her full performance, all the 3 minutes were actually not so bad as I thought they will be. There was a lot of development. I think the last minute is kind of the weakest part of this performance. Everything before that was great. I really loved those video effects she was using in the first verse. I love the dynamic which comes with the second verse. It was just building up really beautifully. Just in the end, there could be a little bit more explosion. But in any case, Hallucination, my huge favorite of the semi-final. Loved that, and I'm very happy for Sissal and Denmark, who is finally back to the Eurovision final. Well, what can I say about Austria? I truly had chills during that performance. I think this looked so beautiful. His vocals were just so pure and so different. I didn't really understand why the whole performance has to be black and white, because you couldn't see the light from this lantern. You couldn't see the blue depth of the sea behind him. So I think actually this performance is losing something from being black and white. I think it would be more effective if it would be colored. But in any case, it totally gave me winner vibes. It was just incredible. when I was making my semi-final predictions after the rehearsals. Maybe you remember I was really struggling to the very last minute. Am I putting Ireland through or am I putting Luxembourg through? In the end, I have decided for Ireland, just because I thought the song will relate with more Scandinavian countries, with the United Kingdom. But in any case, I'm very happy for Laura Thorn. It really proves that Luxembourg, even such a small country which has absolutely no diaspora, can still qualify if they bring quality product. I think Laura just became so much more confident in comparison to the Luxembourg Song Contest. The camera works was excellent. I loved how she played with the dancers. She still lacked a little bit of charisma. I think it could be even better, but in any case, it was such a fantastic performance. I love the colors. The beginning where she's kind of laying on the floor and they show us this kind of puppet house or something like that was truly spectacular. So I love that, and I'm very happy to see Luxembourg again in the Eurovision final. Well, what to say about Finland? She has definitely served. This was such a fantastic performance. She's so full of energy, how she plays with the camera, with the audience, even in her interviews. She's just so likable. I still feel like this song is really targeting the Eurovision fans more than the general public, so I will not be surprised if in the final she's ranked a little bit lower than we all expect. But in any case, I enjoyed it from the very first second till the very last one. You just can't get your eyes off Erika. With regards to Latvia, after the rehearsals, I was not daring to rank their chances higher than 40%, because maybe you remember that at Latvian Supernova, they didn't win the televote. This running order now was also pretty bad, and I just didn't have the impression that the song gets so much hype. But in any case, they looked really good. I think maybe after the first three performances, which were partially silly or too generic, this one was just kind of standing out by being so unique, bringing so much culture, which so many people really create in Eurovision Song Contest. So in this kind of sea of silly or generic songs, this one really stood out, and I'm so happy for the girls that they have made it to the final. They are so talented, and it would be such a pity if they would be out. Qualifier number 9, Malta. Really no surprise here. It was also kind of funny when she was shown together with Georgia and Montenegro, kind of with the two only obvious non-qualifiers. So she really had an easy job to qualify out of those three. I think no one had any concerns about that. In any case, performance was fantastic. I wish they would show in the end how she is jumping on this fitness ball a little bit closer somehow, because I think in the Maltese selection it was a bit more visible and a bit more eye-catchy. But in any case, the whole performance was great. I absolutely loved the lips. Her vocals were fantastic. This beautiful high note, long high note, which she's doing before the last chorus, is just a banger. It's like a cherry on top of this cake. I don't know how did you feel, but when Greece was left with the other 6 countries in the end to be announced as the finalist, I was totally freaking out. I absolutely loved Claudia and the song, and there was a lot of doubt about the fact if she can qualify or not in the Eurovision fandom, and I have voted for Greece so many times. I was just hoping and praying that she will make it to the final. If she would stay in the semi-final, I have already said to my friends, maybe then I should quit with Eurovision, but then luckily she was announced. I was so relieved. I think her performance actually looked absolutely fantastic. So beautiful visuals throughout the whole song. Her vocal was so much better than also in the Greek national selection. I loved how she played with her voice. Her vibrato is just out of this world. She's such a star, and she will definitely get some votes for me in the Eurovision final as well. And now let's compare the real results with my predictions after the rehearsals. So as you can see on your screen, of course, my predictions were pretty much open. I was not really sure who will take some of those last spots, which were in the end not taken by Australia, Ireland and Serbia, but they were taken by Luxembourg, Denmark and Latvia. From the upper part, you can see that there is definitely one country which I got totally wrong, and it was Czechia, Adonxs with Kiss Kiss Goodbye. After the rehearsals, I didn't really think that the whole performance will be just so weak, but after I saw it today, actually me and my friends, we all have agreed that this song is unfortunately out. So sometimes you just need to see the whole 3 minutes in order to be able to say if the song is qualifying or not. So that's what I have thought about the second semi-final. I think it was absolutely fantastic. I'm really sad for Emmy and Gojo that they didn't really make it to the final. I think they would have decorated the final lineup. But in any case, we have fantastic 26x for the Saturday night, and definitely subscribe to my channel to not miss the video with my predictions for the final results, which is coming out very soon. So see you in the next one. Bye.